Have you ever wondered why silence can be more powerful than words, especially with someone who mastered the art of avoiding? In today's video, we'll uncover the psychological journey of an ex who once slipped away quietly, and what actually happens when you hold your silence longer than they ever anticipated. This isn't a manipulative tactic to bait attention, but a method that helps both of you recognize the true value of your connection. From awakening deep-seated doubts and triggering the fear of being forgotten, to stirring memories of the safest version of yourself they once knew, we'll navigate each stage of these intense and unexpected emotional shifts. You'll not only understand why silence throws them into confusion and anxiety, but also gain the tools to transform distance into an opportunity for genuine healing and reconnection. If you're exhausted by the endless come-and-go cycles or simply want to understand the mechanics of an avoidant heart, don't miss this video. Hit subscribe and ring the bell now to make sure you stay with us until the very end, where the most crucial insights are revealed and where you'll find the inspiration to redefine the power of silence in love. Immediately after a breakup, those with an avoidant attachment style often experience a surge of confidence. They firmly believe they were right to pull away, safeguarding themselves from emotional turmoil they don't know how to handle. The initial feeling is one of satisfaction, like a warrior celebrating a completed mission. They take solace in the temporary emotional detachment as a safe strategy, preserving their autonomy without having to beg or engage in endless conflict. However, this victory is fleeting, because when you choose silence, no messages, no calls returned, no more seen indicators, they plant a seed of doubt. At first, they reassure themselves that this is merely an essential act of self-protection. They cling to justifications. I just need space to regain my emotional balance. But as day turns into day and your silence remains unchanged, no reply to their texts, no likes or story views on social media, they begin to sense something amiss. The certainty in their resolve starts to fade, replaced by the first question: did I really make the right decision? That doubt does not announce itself loudly. Instead, it seeps through every moment of your silence. They wrestle with two theories. One, that you have truly let go and are moving on. Two, that your silence is a tactic designed to panic them back into action. The latter thought instills genuine alarm. If this is a ploy, they have lost, relinquishing control of the relationship. A whirlwind of confusion ensues. They wonder where they went wrong and cannot escape the disappointment of no longer feeling in command. Anxiety intensifies when they realize that after each retreat, your stance remains steady. Every time they look at their phone, hoping for a text like, "I miss you," and see nothing, their mind spirals with chaotic thoughts. Perhaps they were too hasty, too aloof. Maybe their withdrawals, once seen as protective, were actually missteps. They stall at a crossroads, torn between maintaining autonomy and craving connection. The deepest sting of all is the loss of that initial victory. The mantra, "I was right to let go," rings hollow. They no longer feel triumphant. Instead, they sense that real power rests with you, the silent one, who controls their emotional state simply by not ceding ground. It dawns on them that your absence wields more leverage than any confrontation could. Then one day, they can no longer deny the confusion. Doubts blaze into questions. Am I deceiving myself? Did I inadvertently reject a relationship worth salvaging? This doubt becomes more than an echo in their mind. It swells into a tide, dragging them into emotional turmoil, fearful of drowning in memories, yet terrified of missing their chance at reconciliation. When they finally reach out, they do not do so with their original pride, but with trembling uncertainty, searching desperately for validation of their choices. When you decide to sever all contact and block them on every social media platform, that act becomes a clear full stop. You are building a new life without them. For an avoidant attachment style person, this is the greatest shock, because they always believed they held the reins of your emotional bond. Every trace of connection, be it a scene on a message or a story view, affirmed their importance in your world. But once every link disappears, they plunge into a dizzying realization. Could it be they don't need me anymore? This confusion stems from a deep-seated fear. Without watching you, they have no idea what you're doing, who you're with, or if you're finding someone else. Their mind spins terrifying scenarios. You're laughing with a new partner, sharing warm moments where their face no longer appears. In that moment, their innate confidence extinguishes, replaced by a smoldering jealousy. They panic not just at the thought of being forgotten, but at losing control over you. Avoidants are accustomed to dictating the pace. They retreat, they pause, they re-enter on their terms. Now, you have flipped the script and they find no way to pull you back. They feel like a blind person stumbling in darkness, searching every corner for a flicker of light. You have blocked, vanished, and shown no sign of return. Amid this panic, jealousy surges. They imagine you dating, sharing smiles with someone else, experiencing the warmth and security they once provided. Every photo you post that they cannot see becomes a dagger in their heart. Have I lost them to someone else? They blame themselves. Was I too rigid, too distant? If I had been gentler, they might have stayed. Yet deep down, they know this self-reproach is just a psychological comfort to numb the sting of abandonment. The feeling of being replaced morphs into a nightmare in their mind. They see themselves as a fading shadow, drifting out of the album of your life. This is more than the pain of losing emotional connection. It's an existential dread. Do I still matter in their world? No answers come, only spirals of disorientation and anxiety so severe they'd accept any action if it meant reigniting a glimmer of hope. Yet within the chaos, they become stealthily patient. They scan your routines, looking for an opportunity. They reason, surely they'll unblock me someday. And as time drifts by, every missed notification, every uninitiated conversation reminds them that your life has indeed turned a page. Their jealousy intensifies, realizing the void you left is too vast to be filled by anyone else. The crescendo of feeling replaced comes when they see they are no longer indispensable. Previously, they took pride in believing this relationship could not exist without them. Now they face a new reality. Perhaps you will never think of them again. This thought sends their heart tumbling through tumultuous waves of regret, emptiness, and fear of losing themselves entirely. From the panic of losing control to the burning jealousy of imagining you with someone else, the avoidant traverses a tumultuous emotional journey. They do not merely lose contact, they lose significance. And that is when they crave even the smallest invitation to return. A single message to dispel the dark night, a tiny sign that you have left room for them. When your silence carves out too wide a space, they finally realize their own presence and the bond with you was the most precious thing of all. As you maintain your silence day after day, the inner world of the avoidant begins to shift. No longer resisting, they gradually feel your absence, not just the physical silence, but the emotional void you once filled. In that stillness, memories awaken like gentle winds, pulling them back to moments of warmth. The smile you gave when they felt awkward, your reassuring hugs during their lowest points, the sincere words that made them believe they were worthy of love. Each memory unfolds vividly, each one touches a corner of their heart they had long forgotten. In the first moments of longing, their heart surges with a realization. I once had someone who truly understood me. They vividly recall feeling safe when you listened without judgment and witnessed the best parts of them, even when they doubted themselves. That relationship was no battlefield but a cozy sanctuary, allowing them to lower their defenses. And now they see it was something precious they lost. Regret quietly ignites, its power undeniable. They ask themselves, why didn't I cherish it when I had the chance? Why did I let fear guide my steps, only to find it gone? This silent remorse smolders like a flickering flame, consuming them from within, but lacking the force to spur action. They sink into the bittersweet echo of memories, sweet, yet tinged with sorrow. In this moment, they start reevaluating the entire relationship with fresh eyes. Your patient waiting when they needed you to speak up, your respect for their need for space, these now stand as proof of your genuine love. You weren't just a lover but a confidant, a spiritual anchor granting them the confidence to express their emotions. They recall how you wiped away their tears, held back your own feelings to give them room, and empowered their autonomy. All these moments now shine like rare gems in their mind. But longing alone is not enough. It leads them to a crossroads fraught with inner conflict. Is it true regret or mere wistfulness? They whisper to themselves, do I really want to return, or am I just afraid of deeper regret? This ambivalence reveals the essence of the avoidant, both yearning and hesitance entwined. They stand on the threshold of your silence, craving to start anew, yet terrified of once again being hurt. Within the hush of your absence, this regret grows quietly yet profoundly. It does not roar. Rather, it gently erodes layers of pride, revealing raw vulnerability beneath. They begin to accept, no one else can provide the safety and respect you once did. Even if they search elsewhere, they cannot replicate that sense of peaceful belonging. Then, in a rare moment of clarity, they understand that action is needed to prevent permanent loss. Yet that action is never simple. They must confront old fears, endure the dismantling of their self-reliance, and learn to return to vulnerability. It marks the beginning of a long journey where they must heed their heart's call, own their regret, and work toward mending the wounds their avoidant attachment caused. On that path, every cherished memory you created shifts from nostalgia to inspiration. It compels them to reach out if you still have an open hand. They may learn to open up more gradually, share more authentically, and treasure every moment beside you. For they have realized that your silence was not an ending but an invitation to pause, reflect, return, and renew the story of love. At first, when you remain silent for only a few hours or an afternoon, they feel curiosity, a spark of intrigue about the mystery. What might they be doing right now? Are they okay? This reaction is as natural as scrolling through social media to see if someone posted anything new. They might sneak peeks at your updates, view old stories, or accidentally see a post while browsing their feed. Early-stage curiosity feels like a gentle arrow into the mind, no pain, just a desire for more information. They believe that, eventually, when you respond or reappear, everything will return to normal. However, as days turn into weeks and your silence remains unbroken, that initial curiosity takes on a darker hue. Instead of patiently waiting, they begin to feel uneasy. Without any means to know what you're doing, they become disoriented. Every small clue, an Instagram check-in at a cafe, a status update among friends that once gave them reassurance now vanishes. The comfort of being able to follow you transforms into a suffocating emptiness. They can no longer lean on images, messages, or routine glimpses to soothe themselves. Your silence turns into an impermeable wall, barring any view through. Born from the fear of losing control, they spiral into a silent panic. Each racing heartbeat intensifies as they imagine you laughing with someone new. Each unmet notification, each locked screen showing only the time and date without a single new message drives them deeper into anxiety. They sense a threat at every cellular level, the greatest fear being their inability to know your whereabouts, your well-being, or if you even think of them. Their mind spins endless narratives. You are seeing someone else. You've erased all memories of them. You are building a life with no room for them. Each time their thoughts veer into these scenarios, panic surges, heart pounding, head spinning, limbs trembling. They want to regain control, reach out, explain themselves, but every attempt seems pointless because you have proactively shut every door. They feel utterly powerless in the maze of your silence. Within this haze of anxiety, they chastise themselves. Was I too distant, too rigid to keep them? This self-questioning is not an admission of wrongdoing, but a desperate bid to reclaim agency. They try everything to break your silence, texting from alternate accounts, sending emails, enlisting mutual friends, but when every bridge is burned, they realize your silence is not a temporary pause, but a new boundary they cannot cross. Their anxiety deepens not only because they fear losing you, but because they yearn for comfort, for explanation, for a sign that the relationship is not dead. They crave even a tiny notification to steady their racing mind. Instead, every search reveals only emptiness and silence. Then one day, they understand that no amount of waiting or pleading will break this silence. They face the truth. Some things lie beyond their control. Acceptance becomes the only path forward. And in this acceptance lies the seed of genuine healing. It begins when they learn to seek solace within themselves rather than fix all hope on your return. That marks their turning point, from panic to acceptance, realizing that silence can no longer be shattered by their usual tactics, and that true control begins from within. Amidst the haze of panic and shifting anxiety, a gentle realization flickers. They begin to remember the peaceful version of themselves you once nurtured. It's not merely about the smiles or the loving glances, but about how you carved out a safe space for them to breathe freely, moments when they could be fully themselves without fear of judgment. They recall your patient listening, the absence of criticism, and your restraint from forcing answers. That silence was not neglect but understanding. You understood they sometimes needed time to process, rather than being incessantly reassured with words. In that cocoon of calm, they remember feeling emotionally safe, a feeling that all flaws and vulnerabilities would be met with grace. They picture evenings spent in soft lamplight, where they could voice their deepest worries without reservation. They recall how you embraced their pauses, how your quiet presence spoke volumes. I respect your rhythm. Those memories now stand as proof of your sincere care. A smoldering yearning ignites within them. They long to return to that reassuring embrace, that sanctuary of unconditional acceptance. They remember how you held space for their fears, letting them show every facet of themselves, even the parts shy, broken, or unsure. They felt both powerful and protected, freed from the need to mask their uncertainty. Yet, between this yearning and reality lies a formidable chasm. They are not yet ready to fully commit to change. The deep-rooted avoidance makes them hesitate. Can I dare to remove my armor once more? Can I withstand the vulnerability of showing my true self? Their hearts flutter between excitement and trepidation, a bittersweet tension that captures the essence of their avoidant nature. In this ambivalent hush, they confront a pivotal truth. Freedom does not equate to emotional evasion, but arises from knowing they are loved, even in their most fragile states. Genuine trust, they realize, is not about controlling the relationship's pace, but about mutual respect and acceptance. Subtle invitations to reconnect, a gentle text, an understanding gesture stir their courage. These signs convey that they are welcome back without needing to prove themselves. As the hesitancy dissolves, a warm anticipation takes hold. I want to try again, this time with patience, appreciation, and authenticity. And this marks the beginning of their transformation, a journey where they embrace vulnerability and self-acceptance. They need not be perfect, they only need to be genuine. For only in authenticity can they rediscover true peace, and only then can love flourish in freedom, respect, and reciprocity. After traversing every emotion, from the initial conviction of being right to the panic of losing track, from jealousy to deep regret, a person with avoidant tendencies ultimately realizes that true treasure isn't control, but the sense of security you once provided. They remember the peaceful version of themselves, no longer hiding behind a protective mask, free to reveal vulnerability, certain of unconditional acceptance even in weakness. Through purposeful silence, you offered them the chance to confront their fears, not to win you back, but to understand what they truly crave in love. It's the freedom to be fully loved without constraints, the inner peace of valuing oneself even in solitude. Now, you have the choice to maintain silence, preserving your boundaries and nurturing your own growth, or to reopen the door, this time grounded in mutual respect and deep insight into both your dynamics. Whatever path you choose, you have redefined the relationship as no longer a scramble for attention, but a journey alongside two mature souls. Remember, love is not a salve for all wounds, but the breeze that kindles your inner strength. When you dare to let go of dependency, you discover your authentic power within. And when the avoidant finally realizes they have no need to flee, they will step forward to you with newfound courage. Thank you for accompanying this journey to the end. If you found value here, share your thoughts below and hit subscribe to catch upcoming insights. May you maintain your inner freedom, find peace in love, and embrace living as your genuine self, for that is what truly makes you worthy.